Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Band of Brothers series. We have reached episode 9 and it is called Why We Fight. Last episode. Again, keeping things mixed up and keeping us interested, they had a complete episode about a capture mission essentially. And it made it even more interesting to me, the fact that it was just across a river. You know, there was a single river separating the Americans and the Germans. They had to, under the cover of semi-darkness with a full moon, take boats over to the German side, grab some prisoners and take them back to camp. Quick thing by the way, I know last episode I assumed that the prisoners had died. I do realise now that he was just saying that so that they didn't have to go on the second mission, and the first 2 prisoners they captured did survive. I do watch each episode twice throughout the week. Sometimes I will miss stuff. It's impossible basically to react to shows like this while pausing. If you are used to a reactor pausing, the likelihood is you've been watching reactors who react to YouTube videos or copyright free material. For me, for multiple technical and copyright related issues, I cannot pause while reacting. End of. So I have to try and get my thoughts out while the show's running, and inevitably from time to time I will miss small details like the single sentence which let me know that the prisoners they had initially captured were alive, and they were talking about the 2 fake prisoners from the second mission they didn't want to go on. So I get it now. Calm down everybody in the comments. There's 2 types of commenters. Commenters that enjoy watching the show a second time with someone new and understand that people new to something will make mistakes, and they're nice when providing you information and they still have things to say about what you've said and how you've reacted to certain moments. And then there's another set of commenters that are just like, no, I think you'll find they used this type of magazine in that rifle, and then not say anything else. No, like, yeah, nice reaction, no this, no that. They literally come onto these pages to flex any information they have and just don't actually contribute to any sort of conversation. So much appreciated to the nice people out there, whether you're politely providing me information while also, you know, engaging with the actual reaction video. And, you know, for people that just want to come on, say a single sentence of information and nothing else, it doesn't make you look good. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, back to the episode. It then ended, of course, with them not having to do the second mission, but they were announcing that they were now making their way into Germany. By the sounds of it, I'm assuming this is going to be the toughest shit yet, but the Germans are on the retreat, they're losing numbers. Maybe this is a more peaceful episode than I'm expecting, so who knows. There is only one way to find out, so let's do it. This is Band of Brothers, episode 9, Why We Fight. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it.
We used to say only good crowd is a dead one. Well, but there was something in there that, you know, hey, that was a kid.
The only good crowd is a dead one, damn. Talk about some xenophobia right there. That is how you would think though if your nation had drilled into you that these were the evil enemy and not just another set of men following our government's bad decisions.
That man and I might have been good friends. We might have had a lot in common. We might have liked to fish, you know, he might have liked to hunt.
See, even these guys understand what I'm just saying there. At least they've grown as people since they served in the war as essentially just young, dumb teenagers. 1945, so the war is very nearly at an end now. What an opening pan-out shot that was. These guys are like the band on the Titanic. Oh wow, there's members of parliament here. Those soldiers had MP on their arm. Does that mean there's actual members of the government of show? I know it means military police. I was just fucking baiting you commenters. Fuck off.
I'll tell you one thing about the Krauts. They sure clean up good. Yeah.
Ah, so this is them actually in Germany, and this is German citizens just picking up the pieces of their cities. It's fucking horrible to see, no matter what side of the war it is.
Alright, this one's got some, Judge. You grab the chicken and I'm gonna grab the eggs.
A lot of the German citizens would be completely friendly to the Allied soldiers as they moved into Germany, because most of these people don't want war.
Eliza, why don't you leave her alone?
Frank, why don't you just leave me alone, okay? You don't like chocolate?
It's completely understandable that this woman is terrified. I hope he is genuinely just trying to be nice to her, but he has to understand, to her he's a potential death dealer. She will not warm up to him quickly.
Wanna sit down? Here? That's it.
This has got a creepy undertones to it.
The hell's he doing in his harness?
I don't know. Maybe we jumped into Berlin, the war's over.
I take it he's holding his jaw because he just tried to make advances on that woman and she hit him.
Yeah. Oh, God.
A sex scene in Band of Brothers? Well, this is completely unexpected. Oh, it's fucking Tom Hardy. I think that superior officer just got a double salute there, if you know what I'm saying. Some very nice candlesticks.
Boy, your folks are sure gonna have quite a collection by the time you get home, sir.
Finders keepers.
Yeah, I figured he wasn't sending it all back to his parents. He's just freeloading in the country they've invaded. See, I agree with that shit on the battlefield, you know, looting the dead. That's like whatever. You're getting supplies, you're stopping your enemies. But just robbing civilian houses of their candle holders is a bit harsh.
You're probably the only man in the 101st with 3 combat stars over his jump wings.
Not bad for someone who's never fired his weapon in combat.
That's true. I've never seen Off-Piss-Face fire his gun once. He's been good in this show, but he hasn't really done much. He's seen a lot though, like he's been there in dangerous situations.
I got out, 2 others got out.
The rest of the boys?
Oh, they blew up over Germany somewhere.
Ah, shit.
Well, tough situation.
Oh, yeah, the boys. Yeah, it's terrible. Oh, well, it wasn't me.
He seems completely, like, disassociative at this point to get through his day.
God, got me a nightmare.
Is he becoming an alcoholic due to all of this shit?
Still drinking nothing but the VAT 69, huh?
One of the finest for Mrs. Nixon's baby boy.
This is Dick's nice way of telling you need to cut the drinking out just a little bit.
Hear what I said, Nix? You've been demoted.
Yeah, demoted, got you.
He doesn't even care he's been demoted at this point. You can tell just all his interest in this almost is completely gone. I think I would describe his mentality as a person that's seen the humanity on both sides now and realises that all this shit is in vain.
Down the plane and a waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the wind comes.
Okay, at least the soldiers can still make him smile.
We'd be in Berlin by now, sir, if it was us instead of them, huh?
That's right.
Morale seems good in the rest of the unit. It's just Off-Piss-Face who's seen an entire thing explode at the drop zone, so of course he's on a downer. The rest of the guys seem like they've been having a chilled time in Germany.
Tell me nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. A couple of artillery rounds at dawn, probably from across the river.
I've got to say, I don't know if this episode is trying to lull me into a false sense of security, but it genuinely does seem like we're winding down on the action now. Why do I feel like I'm gonna get this completely wrong and all of a sudden some secret German unit is going to shell the shit out of this place or something?
It's O'Keefe. Is that right?
Yep. Patrick O'Keefe. My friends call me Patty.
Your friends are racist. Not gonna lie, if you'd seen some shit, this guy would be annoying.
They're all like you. They're all piss and vinegar. Where the crowd's at. Let me at 'em. When do I get to jump into Berlin?
Well, they don't call him the Fighting Irish for nothing.
Do you understand that this is the best part of fucking war I've seen? I got hot chow, hot showers, warm bed.
I completely see why this would infuriate this guy. The other guy's obviously newer to this place, and the fact that it's a low conflict zone currently, he's probably not seen a lot of his friends die, etc. To be so upbeat, sitting in the same sandbag gun turret place as a guy that's seen lots of his friends die, he must be coming across as quite an ignorant dick just now, with even his attitude being upbeat.
President's dead.
Oh, some good news.
Nix. Nah, I'm out.
I don't know if he was talking about his bottle or the game.
Ike's gonna let the Ruskies have it.
Ruskies.
I know there's a bit of beef nowadays, but Russia came in clutch in the war. They were absolute savages. Gotta respect them. I'd love to know what's going on in his mind right now. Probably to break that window and take all the alcohol. Yeah. And it's a shame because it's a fine line between like liberating citizens under a brutal dictatorship and just ransacking the country and treating it like your playground.
I'm having some trouble finding some whiskey.
Whiskey?
Yeah, particular brand of whiskey.
He's become addicted to that fancy shit.
What news? 300,000 Krauts just surrendered.
300.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We're moving out in an hour.
That is awesome news. That has got to be signalling the near end of the war now.
Your mail.
He doesn't give a fuck about mail. Give him his whiskey.
Hello? Katz is divorcing me. I'm sorry.
Wow, things are going from bad to worse for this guy. I know his name, I just don't want to call him his nickname all the time. I've refused to call him anything other than his nickname since I chose it for him, but it's just because it's probably one of my favourite puns I've ever thought up. I mean, no disrespect to these guys, but these reactions are like, I will break balls and try and joke about. You all know what I'm like by now. That's just a disclaimer for the new viewers who are like, why aren't you respecting these veterans? I respect them, calm down. You can still break someone's balls and love the fuck out of them.
Lighter.
Alright, nice lighter.
Thanks.
And to this day, people are trying to pocket the lighters that we own.
You okay, Max? Yeah, I'm fine. She hates that dog.
If I was him, I would be furious about the dog as well. Like, she's obviously just doing that to spite him. If you're an animal person, that's like her taking another one of your family members. There is no difference. Pets are family to people who own dogs, you know. I don't value humans over animals. We're all here just trying to live.
It's gonna be good times, Webb.
They were cool transport vehicles up the front. They look like tanks without the top half.
Then I'm gonna find me a nice Jewish girl. Great big soft titties.
I don't think there'll be many left in this country. You might want to wait until you get home.
Lots of bedrooms. For all the little league guys we're gonna be making.
This guy needs to be careful talking about his future plans. I know the war's almost over, but there's still a chance for you to get shot in the head yet.
It seems that the Germans are bad. Very bad.
Well, at least the newspaper's providing you up-to-date intel.
I love to read.
Do you?
Yeah. Dick Tracy, Flash Gordon mostly.
You could tell the Harvard guy was somewhat looking down at him for that. That guy was the future. Comic book movies took over the world. There is no more Band of Brothers thanks to comic books.
Raus! Raus!
Das ist doch meine Fotogröße.
Sir says you got nowhere to go, but your house next door is got...
This is such a recipe for potential disaster, because if you bust into someone's house when they've got their kids there, they will be of course defensive, so if you do anything that they feel is like threatening their children, it might end in a deadly confrontation. What a camera shot that was. I'm assuming that's the 300,000 surrendered German troops. I wonder how the surrendered German officers feel just now.
Say hello to Ford and General fucking Motors! You stupid fascist pigs!
He's been storing up this speech for weeks. It's funny he said say hello to General Motors as well, because if you look into the history of Henry Ford, I think some of his Ford money went into the Nazi side during this war. They look like repurposed boats with wheels. I have never seen that vehicle before. It's crazy. It's always horrible to see people getting executed who have already surrendered. There's no honour in that.
Third swing around.
Yes, sir. First Sergeant Talbot!
Not worried about an ambush, are you?
No.
I would be. They got the information that the rest of the German soldiers who haven't surrendered have been ordered to initiate guerrilla tactics. And there's always casualties when people just hunker down and act like guerrillas because they're individual sleeper cells. You can't keep watching them. They could be in their house making bombs just to throw one out their window on your Jeep. They could attack you in any method they want. So hard to predict or see coming. That's how the Vietnamese body-bagged America in the Vietnam War. They were all acting essentially as guerrillas. You couldn't tell a soldier from a villager. It's going to be the same walking through every German city.
The trees aren't fucking exploding from crowd artillery, but yeah, other than that, it's a lot like Bastogne.
I do second that. It is nice to see some trees not being attacked with artillery strikes. This war was as much an assault on nature as it was humanity.
Hello?
You know he's looking for his whiskey. Any upper-class German residence he finds, he is straight for the beverage cabinets. Yeah, show some respect. Even the dog thinks you're a cunt, and we all know how much you love dogs now. That's got to sting.
It's quiet. He is right, fellas.
If you were to shoot one of these soldiers directly in the grenade, would the bullet itself detonate the grenade, or would it just break the grenade with no detonation? The phrase, "it's a little too quiet," comes to mind. What have they found? They must have found something fucked up. Oh shit, is this like a concentration camp or a prison camp or something? This is fucking horrible. It looks like a concentration camp. Yeah, it is. That shit's absolutely horrific. And it's like the German soldiers have just abandoned the camp and left the Jewish people in here to die. Eesh. The roughest shit I've seen throughout this entire show, just because of the inhumanness of what has happened to these people. Fucking hell. This is fucking horrific. Oh my god. I don't want to repeat myself or nothing, but I mean, this is just jaw-droppingly sickening to see. And regardless of what any of these soldiers have seen or been through, the people in this concentration camp have seen and been through worse.
Tailors, clerks, farmers, intellectuals, we're normal people.
Juden.
I'm absolutely speechless. I'm sorry, I'm not saying much. This is just... It's hard to find words for this.
The women's camp is at the next railroad stop.
Please don't tell me we've got to see the women's camp after this as well. I get the point just from seeing this one. Just free these people and don't show us any more of them, please. And what spiteful fucking soldiers to kill and burn as many as they could before they ran away. This is so fucked up. This is so fucked up. They're just having to sleep next to the ones that have already passed away and shit. Ugh. And it's really hitting like a gut punch due to the level of makeup they've put on the surviving people and the way the dead look. It's all just hitting so hard. I wonder how the Jewish people who were fighting for the Americans felt to know that this is how they were treating Jewish people in Germany. Because it seems like none of these guys even knew of the concept of a concentration camp. And this gung-ho guy isn't looking for some action anymore, is he?
Shut up, you Nazi fuck!
Ich bin kein Nazi. Ich bin kein Nazi.
Not a Nazi. My mistake, you fat fucking prick.
Even if you're not a Nazi, he hates you for your BMI. You are taking all the guy's bread. You could be nice about it.
Bullshit.
That guy won me over at the end of last episode. I'm really disliking him this episode so far, between the shouty speech he gave the already surrendered soldiers and then holding a gun at the civilian baker's neck.
You want us to lock these people back up?
We got no choice, Nix.
Otherwise they might scatter.
I kinda see what the guy's saying, but that's just such a brutal outcome for these people. The last thing these poor people want is more soldiers locking them up.
Es ist nur für eine kurze Zeit.
I feel so bad for the translator being the one that had to break that news to them. Is this really a thing that happened? Did the Americans have to do this when they found concentration camps with people still alive?
Camps like this all over the place. Jesus. Seems the Russians liberated one a lot worse.
Is this a fact that the Allied soldiers genuinely weren't aware of the concept of a concentration camp until they stumbled upon them? And I know I've already mentioned it, but he's really not doing himself any favours slowly becoming an alcoholic during this time. I know it's some rough shit to take in and people are finding all different ways to find coping mechanisms, but becoming an alcoholic isn't the best thing you want to be doing when you're a soldier behind enemy lines still. And these bodies look so much like the real concentration camp photos. It's got to be one of the single most evil things in the last 100 years that's happened. This episode's called Why We Fight. It could have easily have been retitled Why I Drink, and it would be somewhat justified. Oh, that's the woman he broke into the house of, now helping bury the dead, I guess, or looking for one of her dead relatives or something.
Hitler's dead.
Holy shit.
Shot himself in Berlin.
That's the worst thing about World War II, surely, that Hitler took the easy way out. I know there's conspiracy theories that the body wasn't his and he fled to Austria. Could also be true. I just wish the Inglorious Bastards version of events is the real way it went down, that he just got machine gunned to shit. Real justice would be to put that fuck in one of these concentration camps. What an absolutely warped philosophy. How any human could even begin to think like that is so mind-boggling to me. Absolutely horrific. I know I've used that word so much this episode, but other than that, I would just be completely lost for words. Absolutely no words for the level of brutality that those camps had in them. Okay, and that was episode 9 of Band of Brothers, Why We Fight, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, Why We Fight, what did I think of that? I mean, let's get the other small subplot out of the way before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, but yeah, we were focusing on Office Space and his drinking problem escalating. He was sort of disguising it behind the fact he liked a particular brand of whiskey for a while, but of course when he couldn't find that, he just went on to some next alcohol, proving that he is genuinely developing a problem under these circumstances. Now, can we fully blame him? Well, I feel like we still can, because yes, everybody needs a coping mechanism to get through what these guys are experiencing and seeing, but that being said, there are far more healthy coping mechanisms, especially when you're supposed to be a soldier, getting shit done and helping people, than just drinking yourself into a stupor. Now, I have to hold my hands up and say, he has had a rough episode. In between everything he's already been through, what he saw this episode, and then to provide the icing to the cake, his wife is breaking up with him, taking all his shit, including his child and his dog. Certainly a justifiable series of events to make a man go insane, but again, you have to be above the average human when you're being a soldier. You have to be something greater than just a weak-minded individual, and I feel like he's being somewhat weak-minded this episode and needs to snap the fuck out of it. He got demoted and didn't even seem to care. As I also said, he seems like he's the first guy that's really taken it in from both sides and realising that everyone's just a person and it's all just so fucked. Completely understandable, but yeah, for his own benefit and for how much he can benefit others, he still needs to screw his head back on and cut that shit out. But yeah, the majority of this episode was them stumbling across a concentration camp, and here was me thinking at the start of the episode, oh, it's winding down, I don't see there being too much action this episode, but they didn't need to bring the action this episode for it to be absolutely shocking, because these camps themselves are just unspeakable levels of evil, and to see them discovering them for the first time, especially not even knowing they exist and the horrors which lie within, then getting the information that the cowardly soldiers looking over the camp killed as many of them as possible before fleeing. I mean, it's just disgusting. I genuinely don't know how many ways I can say the same thing, but that's the only thing I have to say about it. Shocking, horrific, disgusting, inhuman, just all the worst parts about what we are capable of as a planet condensed into a single camp full of unfortunate Jewish people. horrible. And the fact that the makeup effects were so good and the dead bodies so closely resembled the genuine archival footage and photographs that we see of the real concentration camps, it just hits so powerfully for multiple reasons. The quality in which this show is done, and also the fact that it was a real event which genuinely happened. I can't even get my head around it. That shit happened within the last 100 years in what is now quite a modern European country. It just boggles the mind. I understand some soldiers would want to follow a dictator. That part I get. Dictators generally have a charisma to make people follow them, or have a strong set of loyal soldiers there to install their dictatorship. But for individual human soldiers to be allocated to these camps, do these horrific things to this set of people, and still in their heads think, yep, these guys are inferior to us and I'm doing what's right. I just don't understand how you can be educated to think like that when your whole life you've not been so, until one guy just steps up and says, oh, by the way, your next door neighbour's evil, kill him, put him in a camp, gas him. It seems like such a leap of the human brain to get from A to B to me. I have no idea how this shit ever happened. But the one thing I can take away from this episode is at least we got to see the end of these things and them being liberated somewhat. I guess that's the only positive we can take away from this episode, is that, you know, the camps are no more, thanks to the Allied forces finding them, shutting them down and looking after the surviving people within them. And in summary, this show continues to impress me. I had no idea what angle they were going to take it from this week, and they managed to completely shock me and drop my jaw. So much credit to the show for still being so powerful deep into its run, and I can't wait to see the finale next week. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.